Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot, and welcome to your general readings for the sign in the title below, because it's a bulk introduction, for the supermoon, full moon in Scorpio on the 26th or 27th of month we're in, April, for wherever you are in the world. Here in Britain it's on the 27th, in America it's mainly on the 26th. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the astrology of this because I'll be live streaming 6 p.m. UK time, so 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on YouTube with astrologer David Fisher. We'll go through the astrology then. As ever, general reading rules apply. Timing is not absolute. This is an interesting full moon. I think I tend to look at these readings as looking over the lunar cycle or half lunar cycle, if you know what I mean, from full moon to full moon, rather than new to new. So we'll see how long that they last. You should hopefully pick up the energies from them. If someone else appears in the readings, roles can get reversed. Doesn't very often happen in the spread that I'm using. But as I say, timing is far from absolute is the main point here. So, as ever, I would like you to hit that like button if you like the reading, or if you like the video even. No, the reading might not be so hot. And feel free to subscribe to the channel while you're here, because it really does help. I think that's it for my housekeeping. The reason I do a bulk introduction with a timestamp in the description below, so that you can fast forward to the reading, don't do it yet, is I would like to watch your sun, your moon and your rising. And you don't need to listen to me waffle 3 times over. You know what I mean? So there is a timestamp below if you're wanting to fast forward if this is your second or third time round. And there is a link to the Facebook page for this channel, where I post these videos, obviously, because I do not trust YouTube notifications. But I also post the weather report style astrology YouTube videos that I watch, so you can learn along with me, and I try to make it a bit of a one-stop shop. So anyway, I think that's everything. Oh yeah, if you don't know your moon or your rising sign, there's a link down there for there's 2 links: free birth charts, AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology. I'm now tending more towards using the AstroSeek, just because I know what I'm doing a little bit more, and there's so much you can get the chart to be presented the way you want it to be. So this full moon, it's an interesting one. It's ruled by the angel Jeliel. 7 degrees Scorpio is ruled by the angel Jeliel, who represents recapturing the spark and love and wisdom. Now, that recapturing the spark could mean the passion for a project, a field of research, or a person, you know. So there is that whole romantic element to it. There is a lot of, if you look into the positions of the planets and the degrees that they're holding and the degree symbols and what have you, there is a lot of sexual energy in this full moon, which figures with us just coming off the back of that Venus-Uranus conjunction, although again, that's about more than just relationships and sex lives. But what I've also found is interesting is the relationship to other new moons. Being in Scorpio, it represents transformation. Now, the moon, if my notes are correct, is in its fall in Scorpio anyway. But it's also, being in Scorpio, traditionally ruled by Mars. And Mars is just gone into Cancer. So the moon and Mars are in mutual reception. They're amping each other up. So I think there's any transformations that are begun more under or that are ongoing, I think it would be an even better way to put it, will have that little bit extra oomph. Now, Scorpio under modern rulership is ruled by Pluto. As we know, Pluto's still in Capricorn. But 7 degrees Scorpio is the site of the Pluto of harmonic convergence, which, if you know your hippie woo-woo, then that was a big event in the late, oh, I didn't write the date down, 87, 88, where there was this opening of all new energies coming onto the planet. So I think it's quite significant where this full moon is potentially giving us a chance to actually use those energies now. We've had plenty enough time since the 80s, late 80s, to assimilate to them. It's about time we use them. And also, the other thing I noticed is that it's on Aleister Crowley's Jupiter. Now, there was something else that was like really hocus pocusy with this full moon. I didn't write it down. I've forgotten what it was. But I would imagine this full moon would be great for full moon rituals. However, watch every single astrology forecast video I've posted on that YouTube page first. Do your research. Make sure that what you would be magically working towards, creatively visualizing, sat with a candle, what have you, is in line with the astrological energies that are there. Because I noticed the closer we get to the full moon, the astrologers' descriptions of this full moon are getting nicer and nicer. And there are some beautiful aspects to it. But there are also some quite traumatic aspects as well. So be careful what you ask for, because you might just get it. I think it's the, sometimes the genie is best left in the bottle. That's something that I think you really need to pay some attention to. Myself, I'm not planning any hocus pocus for the full moon this time. I'm just going to sit and let, I suppose the phrase would be trust the process. Allow the transformation energies to unfurl. Because for me, I was alive during harmonic convergence. So for me, this is really, really important. And it being on Aleister Crowley's Jupiter makes me think that magic at this time has a high chance of getting bigger. But it's Crowley, it's double-edged. Do you know what I mean? So you be very, very careful what you ask for. Now, I've also been reading a lot about Franz Barden and the entities he calls the degree heads, who are entities that inhabit each individual degree of the zodiac and can be evoked just like any spiritual entity or magical entity can be evoked, if you know about your evocation. Now, this one is, let me pronounce it correctly, Amelie. Now, Amelie, here's the description, protects man against all infectious diseases and causes him to look after himself so that he is at any time able to resist infection. If karmic reasons make it necessary, or if it lies in one's fate, this head, i.e. the entity Amelie, will not prevent an infection. Amelie teaches the magician many means of protection against the most diverse types of infectious diseases from the magical point of view. Since there exists also the possibility of mental or astral influences, Amelie also instructs the magician in this respect. He teaches him how to protect himself after having been made acquainted with special magical practices against negative astral influences and against influences of negative beings. So if you are going to try any hocus pocus with this full moon, talking to Amelie may not be a bad idea, given the situation of the world at the moment. Negative astral influences? Well, let's use the by now tiresome term of fake news. We've already seen what damage fake news can do. And infectious diseases. I wonder what's going on in the world that could relate to that. But apparently I can't say such things on YouTube. So I won't mention even the V word, never mind the C word. Not that it makes the slightest bit of difference to me anyway, because is I am not yet monetized. But you know, I'd like people to see the readings that follow this. Now that is pretty much all that I'm wanting to talk about with the new moon, full moon. Apart from new moon, yes. Now, Scorpio transformation. And there was an aspect between the recent, the last new moon, the Aries new moon, and Pluto, which was instigating transformation energies. You know what I was saying about the transformation with the harmonic convergence Pluto? There's that sense of revealing, unveiling, that deeper secrets, deeper truths, deeper realities, stripping things away. Scorpio is also the sign of death and transformation. It is the death card in the tarot. So, as I say, the death card in the tarot is not scary because if you get a job, it's the death of poverty. If you get a relationship, it's a death of loneliness. You know, so death is not necessarily bad, but you're watching a tarot reading anyway. So, apart from I'm not using tarot this, well, I am a bit. So you know this already. But there was transformation that was triggered by that Aries new moon. Not even triggered as in the seed was sown, but triggered as in, right, here is the energy to start it. Here, we seem to be clearing all the crap out that we found that's in the way of this transformation. It's like deciding to redecorate your kitchen and then you open a cupboard and find that you hadn't emptied it after all, and you need to empty this cupboard before you can do the next bit of work. So this full moon promises to be really, really useful and dramatic. Like I say, we're just coming off that Venus-Uranus conjunction, so I think that may be adding a little bit of spice into our lives one way or another. So, with no further ado, I don't think I've got anything more to add, and I'm trying to cut down these intros since we're doing the live streams. Yeah, the live stream may be shorter. I've said that already, haven't I? So, like, share, subscribe, and I'll bring up your cards. Okay then, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, whichever. As you may know, if you've watched these Gods of Play readings before, this top row represents the masks that the Archons wear as they are trying to get in between you and your glorious destiny, whatever that may be. You know, whether it's divine communication, talk to your higher self, happiness and manifestation, or all the various things. Whereas here on the bottom, we have the gods trying to lift you up and reconnect you with the divine, your destiny, what have you. Now, it seems to be with Biame here on your side and Helen of Troy here at the top, both representing beauty, that the topic here seems to be beauty. And more to the point, what it is that you are considering to be beautiful. With Helen of Troy appearing in the Archontic row, I'm seeing this look on her face to be a tad manipulative, maybe a tad self-centered. Bear in mind, a war was fought over her, a war that even the gods got involved in. Whereas here we've got Biame, and the beauty appears to be a young bird hatching out of an egg. It's not a pretty process. Any form of birth is not necessarily a pretty process, but there's a glorious beauty when you have that new life in your arms, or pecking its way out of the egg. I had the phrase in my head, beauty is as beauty does. And I think there is a loyalty being demanded of you that doesn't really warrant it. It's almost with Persephone and with transformation at the end here. Um, it's almost like a lover coming back to you who you split up from, and they say, "But I've changed. I've grown." They may well have done, but it doesn't mean that you won't immediately both fall back into the same old power dynamic as what you did last time. You know, as an example. But it looks like you are being demanded to be loyal in some no small amount of detail to somebody who is returning or to somebody who is appearing like they're not quite what they seem. You know, it's all a phrase from my mother springs to mind, all mouth and no trousers. And whereas here on the bottom we have buying me, as I said, with beauty, I have every certainty that I am pronouncing that name wrong. We have Odysseus with the journey, Amaterasu with self-esteem. And that's why I was thinking about that whole ex-partner image. It's almost they're coming back and saying, I've changed. And then have, when you fall into the same old power dynamics, have the opportunity of saying, yeah, but you haven't. Which I don't think is fair. When you have to, when you've been going on this journey and building yourself up. Now, Leo, you are the home of the sun. You are not necessarily known for self-esteem issues. But with Asclepius here at the end and Penthesilea here with guilt, someone has a chance, could take an opportunity to use your own guilt against you. But more importantly, in the past, you know what you've done wrong. You know what you've done wrong. And it's not necessarily what they are trying to weaponize to use against you. So that's where I think Penthesilea here is, there is that effort of trying to make better, trying to make good. But I don't think you're necessarily going to make good with some gorgeous hottie returning from the past. Oh my God, this is turning into a love reading, isn't it? But that's the way the symbols are going. So maybe your gorgeous hottie is a dream position in a job where you've worked there before and things got bad and you walked out. Or, and vice versa, an ex-employee returning to you because they had walked out. That's another way you could look at this. Or you're getting involved with a social circle again that you had walked away from previously. Why? I would say more to the point of, this social circle is trying to get you involved with them again. I think would be a better way to, but they are so very demanding, both with Helena Troy and Ixchel here. And they're on the back foot. Because with Aradia against Penthesilea here, I'm rather feeling that they are defensive and you are working with an awareness of where you made mistakes. Yeah, you made mistakes, absolutely. And now let's move on and not make the same mistakes again. And try to heal from them and try to not repeat them. Because what we have from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we have Aniel representing breaking the circle. So there is definitely something coming up from the past here. So if you go on basis of astrology, it could be something from, let me see, it would be October time, wouldn't it, for Scorpio, you know, with full moon in Scorpio coming up. So look back towards the new moon in Scorpio, or maybe If you know anything about your perfection charts, a year where Scorpio is the dominant house, sits in the dominant house of a certain year perfection. So have a look in what house Scorpio sits in your chart, and then work out. So say it's the seventh house. Work out when your seventh house perfection years were, and look if there's somebody returning from those times. Oh, that's getting technical, isn't it? I don't normally do that. I almost sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to hold my hand up here and say I am not an astrologer, not yet. But there is this sense of something. The only way someone surely has the ability to make these demands of you is that they have been a presence beforehand. And this is a presence that you have recovered from, you've gone on a journey from, you've still be a journey to go yet. So maybe that's one thing that this whole escapade is about. Let me see. Yes, they're saying that a transformation has taken place and a decision is required. Judgment card here. I so normally do not do love readings, and this so much sounds like a love reading to me. I've turned the card the right way around will help. Two more cards. Your likelihood of falling for this trap is directly proportional to the amount of inner work that you've done regarding it. Are you... Ooh, Five of Cups. Five of Cups, clarifying Asclepius. This is not an opportunity to heal again, because theoretically you've been doing that work from what I see here. You made a commitment to do that work. You've put the work in, and to get your harvest, you finally... Amaterasu is a sun goddess that... I can't remember what happened. She did something wrong, or someone insulted her or something, and she went and hid in a cave and would not come out, not coming out until one goddess who had a particularly close relationship with her managed to tease her out of the cave with the promise of food. And then as she came out the cave, the sun returned to the earth and the crops could grow again, etc., etc. But here, Amaterasu on this card is out of the cave. She is dancing in the sunshine. I mean, she also is the sunshine, but there's... with that being clarified by Seven of Pentacles, it's shown me that you've been putting the work in. Now is your opportunity to reap the harvest from that work. So there is... The Five of Cups, that it troubles me a little bit, that bit, Leo, to be honest, because it's almost like you can, even if you don't fall into the trap of this person demanding from you, or this organization or group of friends, or whatever this demand is, even if you turn around and say, no, I'm not doing that, there is this sense of loss, this sense of why didn't I do it? But I do want to say that that will pass, because it is part of the healing process. That's what that means. Because you'll find that whoever or whatever it is that is saying that they have changed, no, it's the same old boring stuff. So this demand of dedication, of loyalty, of doing lots of things for, is unwarranted, is something that I would avoid, because there's plenty of places where you can find beauty that matters. beauty that counts. I'm trying to remember that phrase I used at the start of the reading. But along the beauty coming in a form that means something rather than beauty coming in a form that doesn't. You've been committed to making the journey towards the healing. That's it. You've been committed to that healing journey, to doing the work to find that healing. Don't fall at the last hurdle. And this whatever it is, trying to pull back in. I mean, another way of looking at it, you could say if this was a story of somebody with an addiction who's been through rehab and is getting themselves or has got themselves clean, and then someone from the old days turns up. There's all those temptations again, there's all that social circle again. Are you going to go with that person from the past, or are you going to say, no, that's not my life anymore, thank you? So there, I've got away from the love reading aspect. So if this means anything to you, Leo, please do comment down below. Obviously, I would like you to press like and subscribe to the channel, because both of which really help either the show or the channel respectively. And I'm going tomorrow, well, tomorrow as I'm recording this, Thursday, in for a minor procedure on my mouth. So I will be live streaming Saturday night, but I don't know how well I'll be able to talk. So I will also have astrologer David Fisher with me, so we can have a look at the full moon. And he may be, I mean, he's quite capable of talking for the both of us. So it may be all on him on Saturday night. Anyway, hopefully see you there. Cheers.